Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Trucking with Nikki. This episode is, well, it's dedicated to people that don't watch things when they're happening. I guess that's what I want to say about this one. What do I mean by that? Well, I had every intention of this being a real episode, and I use the Nvidia software that's built into the Nvidia experience to record, I guess it's called Shadowplay, to record my episodes. It's awesome. It does most of the work on the graphic card, and because this and most of the other games I play aren't very graphic intensive, things usually go very well. Well, this last month they did a major update, and for some reason, no matter how many times I set it, no matter how many times I save it, no matter how many times it drives me crazy and I make sure I save it, it keeps on setting the default recording device back to my Corsair headset, which is not good because I normally don't wear my Corsair headset unless I'm streaming, and I'm not streaming right now. I'm sorry, I'm putting on my makeup. I have to get to school in a few minutes. And what happens is that, well, I record a whole episode, and then at the end of it, there's nothing going. So here we are in Trucking with Nikki, and we are going to be looking for a job to do. Okay, we've got our wonderful purple truck. What was I thinking? I mean, I must have been drunk when I picked the color of this truck, and hopefully within the next couple of episodes, you'll see that I realize how crazy this color is, and I decide to change it. I know that this isn't the most popular series on my channel, if at all popular, but I'm going to continue it for the sheer fact that I want to get better at this type of video. I want to get better at giving commentating on video. That's going to come in, that's going to be very important when Star Citizen goes live, and when I try to play some other games like The Division. Holy cow, there's just a ton of trucks. As soon as I try to leave, there's always a ton of trucks that want to go too. So I recorded this one quite a while ago. I've been trying my best to catch up with the videos, and finding it very difficult because I don't want to spam Trucking with Nikki videos out there. So I've got like 4 more to do, this one and another 3, and then I'll be caught up. So sometime by the end of this week I should be fine, and then I could start shooting these again. In the meantime, I have a lot of Star Citizen content to put up because there are PTU patches, there are, I guess you could call it a few more different types of videos I'll be doing of Ben, Sandy, and some others at CIG. And of course, there's always that weekly news, what's going on in the CIG world. There's also other things going on out there. There's a new game coming from Frontier, the people that bring us Elite Dangerous. And that is the successor to Roller Coaster Tycoon. And to me, that's like the type of game. I mean, this is a tycoon game, face it. You might be here driving a truck and thinking that this is what this game is about, but this game is really about building up your career, building up your skills as a driver. What the hell was I thinking? See what I mean about being drunk and driving? That was just nuts. Oh, I just drove right into that telephone pole. That was idiotic. What the hell was I thinking there? Anyway, this game is more about the tycoon aspect, building up your skills as a driver, making money, lots of it, and then starting to build up your own garage and hiring different drivers and making more and more and more money. That's what this game is really about. And that's the aspect of the game I want to get into to sell. But it takes a little bit to get there because you have to get enough of your money, your skills, to be able to buy either extra garage slots or another garage. And then you got to be able to buy a truck for each one of your drivers. And then you got to hire the right drivers and they have to skill up. So that means that you have to be able to, for a little bit, make enough money as a truck driver to be able to sustain the business while other people are out there learning how to drive. And these people are not live people. These people are NPCs. So they're going to learn how to drive linearly. And they're going to go get their own jobs based on what city they leave off in. And they're going to always try to come home. So if you send them up to Sacramento and you have a base in San Diego, they're going to go up to Sacramento and look for a job to get back to San Diego. So if there aren't any jobs, they might just come home. And, that's not something that you would do. What you would normally do is say, all right, there's nothing here in Sacramento. Let me see what's in Redding. Okay, and see if there's something going back from Redding to San Diego. And from what I understand and from what I've seen, just by I'm way ahead of where we are right now. I actually stopped playing the game, so I would stop getting ahead of it because I feel like the content was going to be so far removed that by the time I put it up, the things I was talking about weren't going to be relevant. But as I'm going through these videos, I find this one and another one. I think there's 2 or 3 of them, and there's absolutely no voiceover in them. And I was kind of flabbergasted because I remember changing to the Yeti microphone in those particular instances. And it baffles me why sometimes the software that I use just changes all of a sudden, because I've been using this software for a long time. I had a 760 GTX 760 from EVGA. I used that software on there when nobody was using it, or when most people weren't using it, and I found it to be stable and I found it to work very well. And now I have my 970 and I've been using it since I got that. And when the new cards come out this summer, I'm almost definitely sure that I'm going to use it with the new cards. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, for the first time ever since I've been using the software, it breaks. It just outright breaks. And that is not fair, because I rely on this software to do for me the things that are most important: record my sessions. So I have gone through the forums over at the Nvidia site, and as of right now, I don't see many people with the same issue. So I've uninstalled the Experience software, reinstalled it, came off the beta, went back on the live version, and still it seems to be happening. So I'm wondering if it has something to do with my Corsair micro headset taking over as a default device. And when I look at my default devices, nope, my speakers are my default playback and my Yeti microphone is my default recording device. So I'm kind of lost in that, and I've gotten into the habit recently that every time I go in, I actively make sure, I do an Alt-Z when I'm in a game, which brings up the Nvidia overlay control panel, and I make sure that I select the Yeti as the microphone. So I've gotten that into a habit and will continue to produce these videos in the future. And I know some of you find these kind of boring. All we're doing is driving, but I find it to be a very fun game and kind of relaxing also. So in this instance, I'm looking at my purple truck and I'm like, what was I thinking? I kind of forgot that I had like 3, 4, or 5 runs where I had the purple truck, and finally I was passing by, I can't remember if it was a Peterbilt dealer or if it was the actual one of those repair places. It was probably after the Drunk Driving with Nikki video, which I think this one's it. I think this is the Drunk Driving with Nikki video. I was drunk off my rear end. I had come home from my friend's house and I couldn't sleep, so I said, let me go and do a video. I don't know what I was thinking. My friends live across the street. They're graduates of UGA, and all of us are in our 40s or later and act like we're in our 20s and still back in school. So graduate of Georgia, UGA, University of Georgia up in Athens, and they still act like we're in school. So we were up all night playing darts, and I guess drinking that night. was making Cinnamon Toast Crunch shots, which are Captain Morgan's and Fireball. And the loser had to do a shot each time, and they matched me with my neighbor's wife, who is normally a rockin' dart player. She is awesome. And that night, she just was horrible. She was ass. She couldn't hit the board to save her life. And I work on weekends, so I work Saturdays and Sundays. I work in retail, so I have to be at work at like 10 a.m. on Sundays. This was a Saturday night. Oh, actually, this was probably the Friday night. Sorry. And I was smart enough to leave, but we had lost so bad. I probably had about 5 shots of the Cinnamon Toast Crunch in me, and I was flying. So I couldn't sleep. I was like, there's no way I can sleep. So I whenever I get drunk, I do weird shit. I am one of those people that is... I'm the worst drunk ever because I'm a sober drunk, meaning that I know I'm drunk, so I try to act sober. So what I did is I drank like 24 ounces of water, and then I jumped on my exercise bike and I worked out for 45 minutes and I came off of it. I was just trying to get myself to burn off the alcohol as fast as possible. I don't make great decisions, all right? That's the point I'm making here when I'm drunk. So I come off that, I jump in the shower, and I get out, and I'm sitting around going, all right, now I'm showered and I'm drunk and I'm worked out. What am I going to do? So I jumped in and I started shooting this video. So this drunk driving with Nikki video, you've already seen a couple of things. I mean, look at me. I am all over the road. Kind of nuts. Kind of nuts. This was one of those times where I wish that I had listened to my heart and not gone across the street. But, you know, every now and then, I just like to go and have a good time. And that leads to this. You know, I don't have a hard life. I love my life, and I've made a lot of choices that are good for me at this point, and I'm back in school. Being back in school, I'm not going to night school. You know, I'm going to be 51 in 2 weeks, all right? On April 1st, actually. And I work so hard at work, and then I go to school, and I have 4 classes on Mondays and 4 classes on Wednesdays. One of those is over right now. One was a 7-week course, and it was like 3 hours a day on Mondays and Wednesdays, so it was nuts. But that one is over, and I actually got an A in it, which brings me up to 5 A's so far in this second stint in college. Anyhow, I have no time off. You know, when you think about it, I'm working 46 hours a week, plus doing personal development. I'm doing 4 classes, you know, on Mondays and Wednesdays, and studying for them. So that's at least another 30 to 35 hours a week. And I'm trying to run a YouTube channel, which is an ungodly amount of time for an unnaturally low amount of money. Yeah, the new YouTube with YouTube Red and people with ad block, you make absolutely no money doing YouTube videos. What the hell? Look at this. That cop just passed me. I'm drunk and he's letting me go. That's pretty funny. Yeah, they should put one of those digital breathalyzers to hook up to the computer, and if you get stopped for DUI on this game, they take away your license for a month. That would be funny. Oh God, actually that wouldn't be funny, that would be tragic. But anyway, time is something that is a commodity to most people, and it is one of those rare elements in my life. So when I do these videos, like right now, it's an ungodly time in the morning. I got up at like 5:10 because my roommate had been over at my best friend's house last night over across the street, and for some reason they were at... What the hell am I driving like this for? And for some reason, when I got up at 5:30, they were here listening to Hamilton, the soundtrack from Hamilton. Now don't laugh, I did it first. So Hamilton is a play that's on Broadway, and you know, I'm not the Broadway, you know, in your face type person. I do like my fair share of plays. I've seen Les Mis more times than I'll ever admit, and countless numbers of other plays when I lived in New York. Wednesdays were my day off when I worked in the restaurant industry, and I'd run into the what do you call it, city, New York City. I lived in Long Island at the time, right up until the time that my ex and I actually started dating. I used to do this, so I'd go in on Wednesdays and I would just go with some friends and see a play or two. It was fun. It was culture. It was the 80s and early 90s. It was a good time. But my roommate is just one of those people that's a little bit over the top with show tunes and stuff. She'll listen to Miss Saigon, and I am not going to say I dislike any of it. I just like my alcohol. I like my music in moderation. And there's certain ones I like and certain ones I just can't listen to more than once. But Hamilton is one of those that when I heard it, I heard somebody rapping. I heard rap music, and I was like, what the hell is that? And then she goes on this $2,500 trip, which it's her own money. She's the one that's responsible. I'm the one that's irresponsible. So she's spending her money wisely, and she takes her daughter on a day and a half. Essentially just a little bit more than 48 hours to New York City to go to see Hamilton. $2,500 for the two of them. Crazy, but she comes back and finds that Apple Music has the Hamilton track on it. So she just keeps playing it over and over and over again. And, it took me like 2 or 3 times to go, oh, this doesn't suck. I mean, it's great music. So I wake up this morning to Hamilton at 5:10 in the morning. It's 7 a.m. right now, and I've got to leave for college in about 15 or 20 minutes. So she's downstairs with her neighbor at 5:10 in the morning on a school night. It's Sunday going into Monday, so now it's Monday morning, and I got to go to school. And they're sitting there listening to Hamilton down in the basement playing pinball. We have 7 pinball machines and a couple of... Maybe they were playing on the main machine. We have an arcade machine that has every arcade game from the 80s and 90s that were in those arcades that used to put a quarter in. People when you actually left the house to play video games. But they were down there playing something. It could have been Donkey Kong or golf or something. And I'm just like flabbergasted that they're still up. They look at me and they said, why are you still in your clothes? I'm like, not still in my clothes. I just got dressed for school. It's 5:20 in the morning, 5:30. I think it took me 20 minutes to open my eyes, to stop cursing, and to gain the composure to go downstairs and say, what the fuck is going on here? But in all good things, I love those girls with every ounce of my being. They are wonderful. But just a little bit ago, they had to go across the street to get my neighbor's children up for school. So, I mean, that's kind of wanky, kind of funny. Anyway, that was my day. And, I'm looking at it as I'm going to bed last night, because Sunday nights are my evening with the Enablers, the official organization of the Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous YouTube channel. And that org is, of course, in Star Citizen. And we had a great time last night playing. Oh, look at that sign up there. Ujo Bujo! But we had a great time, and I come off there and I say, all right, I got some videos that I got to put up. Let me take a look at it. So I'm looking, and of course, American Truck Simulator is at the top of my list. So I'm looking at it, I go, holy shit, I've got like 5 videos before I could start playing this game again. And I'm really getting the itch to play the game again. I have fun with this game. It's one of these games that when I sit down to do it, it's my opportunity to connect with y'all, to talk to you, to say what's going on in my life and what things I like. So I'm looking at it, I say, all right, let me set it up. Let me figure out what's going on. So I look at that. Look at me. Oh, God, how many times do I get into accidents on this one? I forget. So I get into the, Final Cut, which is where I do all my editing. I edit on my Mac, I play on my PC. Oh, I went past it. Or did I? Wow, I am taking risks. I am taking big risks here. Really big risks. So... Oh, did I go here? Am I really going to go now? Oh god, that would have been sick. Anyway, so I set up the videos, and then I go, alright, they're already good to go, because normally, supposedly, I listen to my videos before I, before I do this, right? Before I put them into the Final Cut. I'll listen to them on the PC, so I know that they were done right. So I throw it in there, and I go, alright, let me just listen for a second, and then all of a sudden I go, there's no audio here. What's going on? So I set these up, and I figure, alright, I'm going to do these now. And then I look at the clock, and I go, oh, shoot, it's 10:30 at night. And if I start doing these now, I'm going to be up all night. So I went to bed, and I said, I'll just do them at like 1 o'clock when I come back from school. And I go, I don't come back from school at 1. I come back from school at like 2:30. So I was like, all right, let me just set them up and see what I could do in the morning. And then, I figured I'd wake up at 6 and I would get to it. But instead, I'm up at 5:10 and I'm not starting this until 6:30 because of the antics that were going on downstairs. So that's where we're at right now. I'm drinking tea at the same time that we're talking. I think that there's a traffic jam in this one. I think I get a little bit bold and go around it. I'm not sure. There doesn't seem to be any left turn signal lights in this game, which makes it very difficult to actually do the things that you want to do. I left something behind me. Give me a second, folks. Yeah, I think I wind up sitting here for a couple of minutes. And the last thing that you want to do in this game is roll up on the guy in front of you, because if you do, you will get stuck. See what I mean? Look at that. And it's red again. Everybody, see the guys in front? They're all backed up. See the guys over here? All backed up. See, all the way back there? All backed up. So on both sides of the road, they're backed up. Why did you roll forward again, bitch? I must have been beside myself when this was happening. It's amazing I could still remember what was going on that night when I was so toasted. So we're going to hopefully get through this in just a few seconds. I'm going to wind up going around this. I'm interested to see how I did it, because I remember that I did it. I just don't remember how I did it, because there were still cars coming in that direction. This is one of those AI traffic jams where the AI is going, you go, no you go, no you go, no you go. And you can tell that the AI programmer here wasn't very good. Here I go. Am I going to hit somebody in this, though? That's the key. Come on, you can do it. Turn. Ooh, you mother trucker. Yeah, all the cool colors that I could have, and I picked the stupid purple. As I'm putting purple eyeliner on. Go figure. That's probably what happened. Alright. So. Come on, you can do this. You can do this. It's electric. Come on. Come on. Past me. You can get this out of here. Good job. And now, all you can do is cut everybody off. And look at this. Now this truck won't go. Oh, now he goes. You gotta be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. I heard the AI in this game is so bad that you could actually right now say you're making a right turn and go to the left and not get a ticket. I mean, what the hell? So we're waiting and waiting and waiting. I'm doing my makeup still, trying to get ready for work. For school. And we just cut around everybody. Look, there's the UDS truck. Anybody coming? Nope. Look at that. And now, as we go through, I think everybody starts to go through. I think that's what happens. Sometimes I wonder, if you come back to an intersection later on, does the game still have those people there? So I got kind of strange with those with those traffic jams, because does the game still theoretically leave those people there, or as you drive away, does it despawn those people? I don't know. It wouldn't make sense to keep them there, right? Because I fear that I make a delivery, and in one day when I'm shooting multiple videos, that I go back to that same intersection, and those same people that were sitting there are going to be there messing me up. How many miles do we have to go? Let's see. It's ETA 121 miles. Okay, that's about 10 minutes. That's perfect, because that's about when I have to leave for school. So I'm starting to get the burn to play this game again. So I'm probably going to finish all the videos that are in my queue, which means having to do voiceover for 3 of them, this one and 2 others. So I'm wondering if maybe I should skip over one of those. I mean, there's only 50 to 70 of y'all watching this, and most of you don't watch it through. In fact, most of you probably won't even hear me talking about this. Nonetheless, I'm probably going to just skip over one of them. I'm going to pick whichever one isn't so good, because it's hard to come up with all these wonderful anecdotes that are going on in my life. Anyhow, I'm also picked up The Division, which is a good game. Alright, I was kind of strangely, awkwardly liking it when I was playing it. And that's weird, because I have given up my days of that MMO style gaming. I used to be quite the addict of it, and it started a long time ago. My ex and I were living in we were living in our first home in northern suburb of Atlanta called Ackworth, and I was working full-time at IBM. I was a supervisor on a call desk, and I was working part-time at 2 other jobs at CompUSA 2 days a week, and then, believe it or not, at a pizzeria 2 days a week. We had just had twins, so I needed to work extra. And again, I'll say it this way, I'm transgender, so at that time I was married, and things were bliss. So we needed me to work, double. And, I didn't have any time in my life at all. And for some reason, some idiot at work at CompUSA got me hooked into, actually it was before the twins were born. They got me hooked into EverQuest. What was I thinking? And from EverQuest, it went to EverQuest 2 and Star Wars Galaxies, and then finally someone got me into World of Warcraft. Well, I played World of Warcraft all the way up to this last expansion, and then I realized, I realized how much time I was wasting playing the game. I'm not saying it's a bad game, not making fun of World of Warcrafters. There are a lot of very responsible people that play that game. Evidently, I wasn't one of them. I was one of those, I gotta play, I gotta level, I gotta raid, I gotta do this, and it affected my everyday. It was not the cause of my divorce. It was the escape from the things that were the cause of my divorce. One of them being I was transgender. But that's not why we got divorced. The other one was because my ex and I were just moving apart. She was my best friend, and for some reason, all of a sudden, not. And I think, at times, communication breaks down in a relationship. As soon as communication breaks down, if you don't reinitiate it somehow, then your life is going to go to pot. Your life together. I mean, communication is the number one reason why people break up. That's it. And this isn't marriage counseling 101 or relationships 101. But if you don't communicate, if you don't find a way to express yourself to each other, your relationship is going to be doomed. Because eventually, when you're not talking to people and you're not working on the same plane, then, you have issues. And that's exactly what happened to us. And I kept on escaping deeper and deeper into my gaming. And that was a bad thing. Today, I do very responsible gaming. I do it for a living, so I'm making money off of it. And I do it as a means of release at times. But I still do things like excel at work. And I do things, sorry about that, folks. I do things like excelling in my personal relationships. Now, this whole thing with gaming and me made me wonder if I played that game, if I was going to fall into it. And I played it, and I really liked it, and for a couple of nights, it seemed like I could fall back into it. And then something clicked, something that would never have clicked before. And that was the feeling of doing the same thing over and over again. So every MMO has this thing where it's all about social interaction, right? And about the people that you want to talk to and be with. And that's one of the reasons that I'm driven into some other games I play, which is like Armored Warfare. I love playing with my friends Onion and Pappy. Pappy's a trip. And Marcus and other people that play with us. And Star Citizen, all the people I play with that, when it actually doesn't crash every 5 minutes. You know, it's still in beta, so it's going to crash a lot. So I looked at this game and I said, is this the type of game I want to play like that? And I said, no, I like Clancy games because Clancy games have these rich storylines, and there is a rich storyline in it. And I will continue to keep playing The Division, but it had this piece in it that started to turn me off, and that piece was the doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. But it's not. I mean, you do a protect the supply mission, you do a rescue the hostage mission, you do a reset all these antennas mission, and then a couple of others, and it would be reset and repeat. And after a while, I started to think, well, there's not a lot of diversity in this stuff. I just want to play the storyline, but to get to the storyline, I have to go through 1 million of these missions. And while the first couple of times through, they're fun, the times after that, they're not so fun. And I just haven't played for a couple of days. And I love the Clancy games. I'm going to be honest. I really love them, but couldn't find it in my heart to keep playing it. And I'm not sure if it's a wasted $59 or not yet. But, you know, Clancy is dead, so it's not really his game. And the storyline can't be really his. But it's very Clancy-esque. I don't know. I have to decide on it. I really fall into games like this, and, you know, Civilization and XCOM, and, you know, games that I could come in, play for a while, and walk away from, and go back and play again in a week or two, and still find that I love it. And that's something that I find in all the games I play right now. You know, this game has its challenges. You know, the bus simulator game has its challenges, which is doing simple math. And I think I might have done a drunk bus driving episode that will have no audio. That will be fun to take care of. Not 100% sure about that. I think that is one that we might skip. Might skip. But these games, you know, while they're not intense, while they're not killing, while they don't have all the elements that most of you will like, they have some elements that I like. And that leads me to the final thing as we put this trailer where it belongs. And that's my channel, right? My channel has been Star Citizen. I've tried a couple of times to do other videos and people have said things. But I think I'm going to do these other videos because it gives me an opportunity to connect with y'all. And I think that it will still primarily be Star Citizen. There won't be a doubt about it. But you'll see some other videos from time to time because, you know, keeping one channel is hell. Trying to keep 2 channels going is crazy. Sorry. And, you know, where you, the viewer, have the right to stay or go, I hope that you'll make the decision to stay. Wow, drunk, and I landed this one right in. I must have sobered up at the end or been craving sleep. Look at this. I'm a little bit off, but I got it in on the first shot. What the hell are you doing? Just put it in there. Just put it in there. It's gonna ding. It dinged. Good, stop, stop. Good. Alright, folks. That was a good trip. Just detach. Just detach. You don't have to do anything. You're perfect. Just detach. Oh, really? Oh, that perfectionist shit that I have. Okay, we detached. That's good. Good. And there's that stupid purple truck again. Ugh. Again, what was I thinking? I don't know. I have no idea what I was thinking. I'm so sorry. But we did well there. And doesn't look like we had any money taken off for our accidents or anything. Pretty cool. And we landed that in perfectly. And my guess is this wasn't my drunken episode. Then that might be the next one. And that is scary. We have money. 35K. I know right now we have a lot more than that. So we have enough to buy a garage right now. But then we will probably have to take out a loan to get a truck and hire a driver. Nonetheless, this is going to be the end of this episode, Trucking with Nikki 13. And with that said, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon.